as you were talking on that first question, I was brought back to what would happen frequently with our son. Man, he could manipulate the system. He learned that because I would grab his arm and tell him to stop doing that and apply a little bit of pressure. And he would go into this, oh, you broke my arm mode. So it wasn't the on the ground temper tantrum, but I would say, you're acting out of line. And then we would go into this and I was like, oh my gosh. And we were at church one time when this happened. And I'm not kidding. A guy walked by that I knew that was a paramed. And I said, would you check his arm out? I told him what had happened. He goes, so he did. He said, I don't think it's broken, but I guess you'd have to get an x-ray to really know.
I'm wondering if you, now that you are outside of the situation, can take a step back and think about how he interpreted that. Did he view that as a threat? Did his body and his brain feel like, I'm being threatened, I'm not safe?
Yeah.
And then we have this emotional reaction, we have a physical reaction, and the outward expression of that was maybe a little, your perception of being, it was kind of dramatic, oh, you hurt me. But I wonder if internally he was feeling anxious, frightened, emotional.
He probably did, and thinking about that, but yet as a parent, I would say, he's acting out of line.
Yeah.
It's not that I shouldn't discipline him, but I can see where a child would, that's typically not in trouble, would see that as a threat. Ooh, I'm not used to this, so I'm going into self-defense mode. So how do we work with that?
Yeah. Well, I think one of the questions you had was more around compliance and following rules, which I think is maybe a little different than having an emotional reaction or a tantrum, because I view the way that we approach those differently. When a kid is really deliberately trying to work a situation, that's more behavioral. But when a child is having a big emotional reaction, or even if it's not big, but kind of covert, then we're going to attack and go towards how to help them cope with those emotions. There's kind of a couple of factors. One, you said, how do we help them stop going down that path? And one of in order to do that, I think a lot of the work is around, for the child, it's understanding their own emotions, being able to recognize how they're feeling in the moment. But this is a process, self-regulation is something that develops over the lifespan, even into adulthood. And school age kids and younger really don't have that full capacity for self-regulation or self-management, and they need us to work with them. And so what I consider that is as co-regulating. We're working as a team and helping them get calm and get regulated in a difficult situation, much as you would with a baby. We do it really naturally with babies. The baby's crying and we go toward them, we soothe, we help them get calm. So there's this nice dance, right? A co-regulation. And that actually needs to progress throughout as we're scaffolding and helping kids learn to get their own emotions under control when they're feeling overwhelmed. So that's one piece, working on the emotional identification, understanding feelings, working as a team, so that co-regulation. Another piece would be modeling. So what am I doing as a parent? What am I showing my child about feelings? And nobody's perfect. I'll be the first to admit. My lid goes up sometimes. I find myself yelling and having my own adult tantrum. But then I go back and I tell my child, that wasn't the right thing to do. I'm sorry I yelled. And so then I'm modeling reparation, But if we also practice our own self-management and we're modeling day in and day out of how to handle frustration, how to handle disappointment, how to handle situations that maybe don't go the way we wanted them to in a calm way, and we're using coping skills and we're telling our kids that, then they're going to pick up on some of it and it's going to resonate more with them. And then it'll be a reminder when you're coaching them in the moment.